Good evening. Welcome to the April 14th, 2014 Valley View School Board meeting. Mr. Gugis, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Member Sikora, would you please give us the board affirmation statement?
Our mission is to ensure that all students are prepared for college and a successful life, academically, socially, and emotionally, as well as equipped with the necessary tools to have options and make decisions about long-term goals. This will be accomplished by believing and working towards all students learning through rigorous curricula and meaningful, effective instruction, consequently demonstrating mastery on high-quality assessments with all the stakeholders being held accountable throughout the process.
Thank you. Dr. Mitchum, agenda, please.
Yes, Mr. President, I would like to ask that the board approve the agenda as presented.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The ayes have it. Treasurer's report, Mr. Gazafi.
Treasurer's report for March 2014 is presented, including the financial reports, balance sheets, summary of revenue and expenditures and encumbrances, as well as the interim obligation payments for March 2014 totaling $3,417,529.32.
Motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
So moved. Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Gary.
Schedule of bills for April 2014 is presented from 5 different operating funds. The total bills payable for your consideration and action this evening total $2,128,917.
Motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion on the bills? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes.
For your information, we have the state funding update, summary of investments, and the school trust account activity. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those at this time.
We're still running about the same amount of deficit from the state, the average.
We did just receive the quarterly MCAT payment, and so right now we are due $4,679,000, but as you can see from the aging report, those are less than 30 days. And so, again, we'll probably continue to march forward, be lucky to receive anything additional before June.
Okay. Consent agenda items. Dr. Mitchum.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to ask the board to approve consent agenda items 6.1 through 6.4. 6.1 board meeting minutes for March 24th, 2014. 6.2 executive session meeting minutes, March 24th, 2014. Student activity contract between Jane Addams Middle School and Scholastic Books. 6.3 and 6.4 gifts for Humphrey Middle School.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Pillars of Valley View. The amended list is what I'm going to work off of, I think. STEP program. Member Hansen?
Community members, Valley View staff, board members, and senior leadership. Jill Westall was chosen as STEP's Pillar of Valley View by her administrator and peers. She is a lifelong learner, passionate, flexible, energetic, and trustworthy. These are the qualities we believe that make her a great pillar for Valley View. Jill Westall encompasses all of these and more. She is a teacher with a vision and passion. Jill helps others and puts the students first at STEP. In the classroom, she makes learning real and creates lessons that help her students reach independence. At STEP, Jill organizes our busy, entangled, and ever-changing bus schedule. She planned our end-of-the-year trip, and helped with organizing our Ability Awareness Week. She collaborates with her coworkers and assisted in getting one of her students paid employment at Taco Bell. Outside of work, she's part of the Best Buddies program. She volunteers with Me to We and Habitat for Humanity. Jill Westall is a vital part of the STEP family, which makes her a great candidate for a Valley View pillar.
Next up, Member Sikora and Jane Addams Middle School.
Good evening, President Quigley, members of the board, members of senior leadership, Dr. Mitchum, and members of the community. It is with honor that Mr. Pascavage, principal of Jane Addams Middle School, and myself honor Ms. Tensley, a math teacher at Jane Addams Middle School. She is considered a leader at Jane Addams and an exemplary math teacher who serves on the Pippins team and coaches cheerleading and softball. As a classroom instructor, Ms. Tensley differentiates her plans to support all learners. She captures their attention with real-life application of math. Her lively, creative style appeals to students from bell to bell. She uses print and electronic resources, excels at utilizing her co-teaching powers with her co-teacher, and constantly adjusts her instruction based on formative assessment. Students respond well to her high expectations and structure due to the relationships that she builds with them in the classroom and on the field. She regularly attends local high school and basketball games and football, supporting Jane Addams graduates on and off the court. Her students use words such as nice, tough, caring, consistent, and dedicated to describe her. Her class is getting me ready for college, said one insightful man. Ms. Tensley is a leader in which her colleagues greatly respect her work, dedication, and tenacity, which she has to reach every student. Teachers have reported Ms. Tensley makes her a better teacher. District map data provides her effectiveness as continually demonstrating high growth within the district at the 6th grade level. Thank you, Ms. Tensley, for your dedication and support for our students and families.
Next up, Member Felice, Jamie McGee.
Good evening, members of the board, President Quigley, Dr. Mitchum, and members of the audience. It's with great pleasure that I introduce Ms. Julie Mesa, Jamie McGee's Pillar of Valley View. Julie is the English as a second language teacher, and she's been working in Valley View School District for 13 years, and 12 of those years have been at Jamie McGee School. Julie not only supports our students who are learning English, she provides valuable information to their classroom teachers to ensure that the students have successes in their school experiences. Her students come to trust and love her for the confidence she helps build as they become more proficient in their skills in reading, writing, listening, and speaking English improve. Julie's always willing to help in any capacity in the school. As our only fully bilingual member of the staff, she attends parent-teacher conferences and translates for all of our Spanish-speaking parents. Her focus is always on what's best for the students, and her attitude is gracious. And for these reasons, she's truly a pillar of Valley View, and we appreciate her. Thank you, Julie.
Transportation Department and Vice President Gugis. and Gary Grisafi.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Gary Grisafi, Assistant Superintendent. And for those of you that don't know Lucy Harding, our Director of Transportation, she loves the spotlight. She started her career with Valley View District more than 36 years ago. She took a bus driver job in the district in 1976 when classes were held year-round, and the district was flexible in allowing her to work the 45 days that her kids were in school and stay home the 15 days that they were home. 3 years later, she became the secretary dispatcher for the entire transportation department, working out of a 3-room trailer on 135th Street near what is now A. Vito Martinez Middle School, a position she held for a few years until she was promoted to assistant manager and ultimately became director of transportation. Under her guidance, Valley View has always been among the first in the state to institute new safety procedures. As an example, Valley View was one of the first in the state to install and require seat belts for children on buses. During a 7-year break while working for Vancom, she served for 4 months as the coordinator of 2,000 buses and 4,000 drivers that shuttled volunteers and athletes between sites at the 1996 Atlanta Summer Olympics. In the summer of 1999, she returned home. Lucy is referred to as the dean of a group of Chicago area school transportation officials who share ideas with each other, the veteran with vast knowledge of all things related to student transportation. She was also the first female president of the National Association for Pupil Transportation. Every day, 175 buses, 11,000 students, 900 routes, 253 staff members bring children to and from school every day. Throughout the course of a year, they amass over 2.5 million miles annually. And so it goes. After 29 years serving the students in our district, Lucy will retire this June. In retirement, she plans to spend time making visits to her 4 kids, 8 grandchildren, and 8 great-grandchildren. Lucy, you are a shining example of what it means to be a pillar of Valley View. Thank you for all your leadership over the years.
One note on the agenda, the Taekwondo qualifiers are not here this evening, so we will skip to the Spelling Bee champions.
If the Spelling Bee champions could come up, please. Good evening, President Quigley, board members, senior leadership, audience, and community members. My name is Rachel Schlechter, and I'm the Director of 612 Literacy and Social Studies. And I'm very honored tonight to be here to recognize some of our exceptional students. To be a Spelling Bee champion takes incredible skill, dedication, and practice. I talked to Chris briefly before, and he said you just have to know the words and memorize them. It's kind of like a sport, I think, when you're practicing. So tonight I would like to honor our very own Valley View School District spelling champions. From Brooks Middle School, Chris Bavaro.
Before he goes, I want to ask you a question. Hang on. What's the hardest word you had to do? Because I'm going to bet most of the people up here can't spell. I'm just kind of curious.
There were a lot of challenging ones.
Okay.
And he got really far. Did you get second place at the Will County as well? He went on to be second place at Will County as well. And from Jane Addams, we have Michael Edwards. And the rest of our Spelling Bee champions aren't here tonight, but from A. Vito Martinez, we have Martin Reyes del Sol. From Humphrey Middle School, we have John Belser and Janelle Javier. And from Lukanzik Middle School, we have Frankie Miller. Congratulations to everyone, and thank you.
BHS All-State Girls Basketball.
Good evening, President Quigley, board members, Dr. Mitchum, senior leadership, and Valley View community. I am delighted to introduce Coach Chris Smith, and he's going to introduce our wonderful player.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It gives me great pleasure this evening to introduce a young lady who exemplified the high ideals that we established with our basketball program here at Bolingbrook High School. She not only was our leader on the court, she was our leader off the court as well as in the classroom. Asia will continue her basketball career at the University of Pittsburgh next year. Not only does she receive this award as an Associated Press All-State basketball member, she was also the Illinois Basketball Coaches Association All-State team. She was the Sun-Times All-Area basketball team, and she was the Tribune All-State team as well. Congratulations, Miss Asia Burke.
Get the picture. Go ahead. More about us.
Next up, the Jane Addams of BHS Synchronized Ice Skating Champions.
All right, well, thankfully, the weather cooperated tonight because I'll be recognizing two ice skaters. All right. Good evening, family, colleagues, and friends. My name is Jason Pascavage, and I am currently a principal in the Valley View School District. Tonight, thanks in large part to the Board of Education, senior leadership, Vice President Gugis, President Quigley, Dr. Mitchum, I have the honor to recognize two of the finest students, athletes that this district has to offer. So what are the benefits of being a national champion skater besides the cool medals and jackets? 5 a.m. practices on Saturday and Sunday. They even said they go till 11. It's really cold at the rink because the heater broke, so they have the coldest rink. And they get to drive and hang out in Michigan and Wisconsin for meets. So some of the benefits of being a national champion. Recently, Jane Addams, Calissa Pumpu, and Bolingbrook High School's Jessica Key were members of the Downers Grove Dazzlers squad that won the U.S. Synchronized Ice Skating Intermediate Division National Championship in Colorado Springs last month. A senior at Bolingbrook High School and future Adrian College graduate, Jessica Key. Jessica has been skating for 13 years and will continue this passion at Adrian College on the varsity team next year. Jessica intends to major in athletic training and eventually become a physical therapist. Congratulations, Jessica. I did have to mention this is Jessica's second national championship, and you have it's second, okay, and a fourth place individual, correct? Okay, all right. So they have two national champions apiece, and we have a fourth place finish. Next, we have Calissa Pompu, and Calissa is a student at Jane Addams Middle School. Very supportive family, one of the most outstanding students we have, dedicated. Constantly talks about her dedication to school, talks about her dedication to her figures or to her team, and her teachers have nothing but awesome things to say about her. So please put our hands together for Jessica and Calissa. Let's take a picture.
Congratulations. Good enough.
Adrian College, Adrian, Michigan. Now we all know. Next up, board liaison reports. From my left, any and all, please.
I'd like to recognize a few students for the Wilco Area Career Center Students of the Month. For March 2014, we had Jose Cruz in Auto Body from Bolingbrook High School. We had Timothy Pape in Computer Technology from Bolingbrook High School. We had Lucero Rios in Early Childhood from Bolingbrook High School. We had Mariana Boschnick in Intro to Health Professionals from Romeoville High School. And then for April, Students of the Month, we had Fidel Jimenez in Auto Service from Bolingbrook, Michelle Buccio, Certified Nursing Assistant from Bolingbrook, Timothy Pape again in Computer Technology from Bolingbrook, Caroline Labica, Culinary Arts from Romeoville High School, Lely Sanchez in Early Childhood from Romeoville High School, and Melissa Murillo in Intro to Health Professionals from Romeoville High School. So I'd like to send out a special shout out to those students from Bolingbrook and Romeoville High School.
Thank you.
We met preliminary with a leadership team for the fans, and we are working to get liaisons at both high schools as well as the middle schools. And we will be having another meeting, not yet scheduled, but towards the end of April, and putting that together. So I'm looking for parent liaisons as well as liaisons that are in each of those schools to help us put together the preliminary program for this fall. So you can email me or email Larry Randa and we'll get you connected with that.
Thank you.
As part of the Finance Committee, I went to Springfield to hear Dr. Mitchum was invited to speak to a group of maybe 200 state senators, state reps, and union officials and other key players in Illinois' education. Hosted by Representative Chaplavia, Senator Lightford, who are two of the biggest deals in Illinois education. They have a new bill to change the funding formula, and they had just got that introduced. At this, there was a panel discussion of 5 folks at that meeting, and Dr. Mitchum was one. The head of the state for the teachers union was another. The superintendent of schools, Chris Koch, was there. The former state superintendent from Massachusetts and a Harvard professor was there, and a state senator. Each of them spoke and talked about the state of Illinois education and what they individually do. Dr. Mitchum represented our district extremely well, so much so that afterwards in the meeting, there was a line of folks to speak to the speakers, but the only people they were lined up to speak to were Dr. Mitchum, including the Lieutenant Governor, Ms. Simon, who had lots of questions for Dr. Mitchum. So really appreciate the way that we are represented there, and these folks are hearing the needs of our community from Dr. Mitchum. So thank you, sir, for that. And President Quigley was also in attendance. Our local state reps were there. It was a really good meeting, and the needs of Valley View and the needs of kids throughout the state got presented well by Dr. Mitchum. Thank you.
Just to resonate what Rick said, there's probably 250 people in that room, and a lot of people, a lot of questions. I could not stay for the entire presentation, but I heard it went very well. While we're talking about board liaison reports, the governor gave a speech on the budget a few weeks ago, and education funding was one of his issues that he discussed. Of course, that comes at a price, and that would be the income tax increase being made permanent. Just letting everybody know, it was 3.5%. They moved it to 5%. That is due to sunset in 2015. If it does not sunset, I would suggest that we will see some severe cuts, not only to education, but other programs throughout the state. So that's just an FYI. I'm not naive enough to believe that when they passed that in the first place that it was ever going to sunset, but you never know. So moving down the agenda, audience participation. Anybody who wishes to address the board this evening? Next, student due process cases.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd ask that the Board of Education approve student due process cases A through O as presented.
As amended.
Okay, as amended.
Thank you. I'm just reading what it says.
Me too.
Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor? Oh, wait, roll call vote, please. I'm sorry.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. School board meeting schedule for 2014-15 year?
Yes, Mr. President, I ask that the board approve the 2014-15 school board meeting schedule as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Has everybody looked over the schedule, see if you have any conflicting dates on there for any particular reason? We usually try to do our meetings on Monday, correct? On occasion, they're on a Tuesday. I did see that on November 10th, which is the day before Veterans Day, we have a meeting. I don't know what day. I guess Veterans Day would be on a Tuesday then that year, wouldn't it? Okay, so there you go. Motion has been made in a second. Roll call vote, please.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Ms. Kinder.
No report?
Thank you. Do you have anything else? No, just making sure. Doesn't say so. Mr. Gazafi.
Nothing.
Thank you. Ms. Hawks.
Thank you, President Quigley. Action Report 13.1 is the Consolidated Action Report for Certified and Classified Personnel. This evening, we're seeking your approval for 80 items for certified personnel, 35 for classified, 2 for administrative classified personnel, and 2 for administrative certified personnel.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a motion and second. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes.
Before I move to my next action report, I would just like to make mention that in the Consolidated Action Report that was just approved by the board, Mr. Keith Lacomiak. Keith, could you just stand? He is going to be replacing Dan Strootman, who is retiring at the end of June. So Keith will be our new print shop director. Congratulations. My second action report this evening is Action Report 13.2, Resolution Number 1480. We're seeking your authorization for the honorable dismissal of certified personnel.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes.
Action Report 13.3, Resolution Number 1481. We're seeking the board's approval for the adoption of the resolution to authorize the honorable dismissal of educational support personnel employees.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes.
And Action Report 13.4, Resolution Number 1482. We're seeking the board's approval this evening to authorize the dismissal of educational support personnel employee for reasons other than reduction in force.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Sikora?
Yes.
Member Felice?
Yes.
Secretary Hansen?
Yes.
Vice President Gugis?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Superintendent's information reports, job descriptions.
That's me. I'll take
Yeah,
it.
I was going to say, looking the other way.
This evening for your information and for your review is a classified job description update for graphic designer and website administrator. This is in regards to some reclassification and reorganization of the print services department. So that's there for your review. And then the second one is a certified position, a behavior specialist interventionist. That is a new position that we are looking at implementing in one of our buildings this year. This isn't for information only, and then if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me or to ask, and then we'll be bringing it back for your approval at the next board meeting.
Thank you.
I have a question. Could I have some information sent to me about the behavior specialist?
Sure.
Okay.
I can give you some data on that and stuff.
Thank you.
That cover all of those? What about board reading first policies?
Actually, I have two.
Oh, yeah.
prior to
Oh,
that.
yeah. I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay, with Information Report 14.2, we are bringing forth information prior to seeking approval for the adoption of an online curriculum for our geometry, which is our 10th grade mathematics course. This is an online curriculum from Agile Mind to support this geometry course. The information that is being presented includes the purchase of the corresponding resources. That includes curriculum, professional development, and the technology component, and the support from Agile Mind. In this information report, you will find the detailed background and rationale, as well as the recommendation for the program adoption and the materials purchase. But to give you a firsthand perspective and give you a brief of what is contained in this report, we have invited our Director of Mathematics and Science for 612, Christy Vey, and 3 teachers at the high school level. From RHS, we have Rachel Dieter and J.C. Nagel, and from BHS, we have Jackie Lewis. So they're going to give you a brief on what is contained in this report, and then we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Good evening. I promise to be very short for you. I have brought along with us 3 teachers, and I'll let them get started.
Hello. The geometry curriculum team is made up of representatives from Romeoville and Bolingbrook high schools who are currently teaching a geometry course. Next year is a continuation of the implementation of Common Core standards at the high school level. We're here tonight to support the district purchasing Agile Mind as a resource for our students. The features of Agile Mind will allow our students different mediums necessary to implement the 8 mathematical practices and the geometry standards as identified by Common Core. One of the best ways to show you the quality of the resource is to demonstrate how our students would interact with the lessons. So I will let Jackie introduce you to triangles.
So this is just one example of, does that make it bigger? I don't know if you guys can see that, but it says, can you make a triangle from each of the sets of possible side lengths shown below? Use the activity to find out. Click a set of side lengths. Using the segments that appear, try to build a triangle with those side lengths. In the table, mark whether the lengths form a triangle. Try each set of side lengths. So the students would come to the board. They can take these side lengths. It's identifying that it's a 4, 6, and an 8. You move them along. Let's see, this edge, not good enough. Moving them along, you'd be able to adjust to see if whether or not side lengths of 4, 6, and 8 do form a triangle. It should. Oops. And on a smart board, I was playing with it today. It's a lot easier than this mouse. There you go. So then, yes, it does. So if you do an example of one that doesn't, 4, 4, 9. The students would be able to see that because the 2 shortest sides are obviously too short, they'll never connect. Then when you would continue on, you do that whole thing. When you move on, it does ask them to analyze, explain, to come up with some sort of conclusion of why some worked and some didn't.
Another example is from a different topic. I lost my mouse here. There we go. This is just an overview of dilations and similarity. One of the things it says, in an attempt to scare your little brother, you plan to create a shadow of a Tyrannosaurus Rex on his wall in the middle of the night, just to wake him up and scare the parents probably as well. So it's one of those things that tries to tie it into possibly some real life applications that you might do. Hopefully we won't have too many kids scaring their siblings later on in life. But you know, it shows an example. You have a 1-foot tall Tyrannosaurus Rex. If you shine a flashlight, there's a shadow, probably scared the daylights out of his little brother then. So it kind of ties it into something real that the students can relate to. It's hands-on. They can either do this at a separate computer by themselves or together as a class. But it ties it into, you have a 6-foot shadow on the wall, you're bringing that into a 1-foot actual dinosaur. And what you're trying to do is create similarities between the actual dinosaur itself and the shadow as well. I've had the opportunity to use this program a little bit. As a matter of fact, the demonstration that Jackie just showed, I have a smaller class that we were able to actually, the kids were able to actually get up and use that as well and drag the segments around and actually see if it actually worked together or not. I've seen an improvement in, I feel, their understanding of what the topics are, and it's been real successful.
Thanks. The last piece we wanted to show you tonight was a feature for our teachers, which is a professional support resource. Each module that is taught comes with advice for instruction, and within that is information on how to scaffold questioning, how to, what kind of time to give students. There's student information sheets or student activity sheets that go along with each of the lessons to help students guide themselves through with the teacher to keep a structure to the lesson, and then obviously what is the essential part of what we're doing for each of the topics. So again, we wanted to keep this short tonight and just give you a brief overview of the program. If there's any questions, I'd feel free to answer them.
Yes.
Can you explain the delivery system that this is in the classroom versus at home, so that we're not minimizing the impact that the instructor has in relation to the online curriculum?
Yeah, I'm going to let Rachel speak to that. She actually utilizes Agile Mind right now in intensified algebra, and so she would be a great one to answer that question for teaching.
I think that the idea that it's online curriculum might have a negative connotation, meaning that the students are just left to their own and just a computer, and it really can't function as that. So the teacher needs to interact, and as you go through like the deliver instruction, it gives advice for teachers for bringing the class together, being able to make sure that you're checking for understanding and allowing students to be able to formulate conjectures within their own groups too. So going back and just saying that it's an online curriculum, it's different because it's not just your paper-bound book that we're used to. It is online, which allows students the opportunity to access it at home a little bit more readily. They don't have to worry about forgetting something. If you have access to internet, you can access that. But the online portion is just what you see there. The teacher has a vital role in the classroom with this curriculum, and they need to be able to facilitate discussion and check for understanding and answer questions that the students might have. So it shouldn't be regarded as a negative for it being online.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure for the public's perspective that they understood that this was being taught in the classroom, and that it wasn't a class was being, kids were being, it was like a blended model where they're learning at home and getting credit. Just wanted to make sure that there was an understanding.
How many classes have been trialing this?
So this school year we've used Agile Mind with our intensified algebra, which is 3 sections, 2 at Bolingbrook High School and 1 at Romeoville High School, and that's one of the ones that Rachel was speaking to. In terms of the geometry content, we have given the logins to all of our geometry teachers to play around with, log in, become familiar, become comfortable, as they knew we were bringing it to the board for presentation for a hope of adoption. I know that as JC just spoke of, he has used it. He has a section called Geometry and Construction. It's a pilot that we've been doing through our regional trees office, where we partner with career and technical education teacher, and we do this at both Bolingbrook High School and Romeoville High School. And in his geometry and construction class, he's been bringing in different animations to use with the kids to make connections to the wood shop teacher that he currently is partnered with.
Are we saying that the current curriculum that we have, or the book we have, doesn't accurately have everything it needs for Common Core, and so we need to supplement this? Is that, because I know that other books we had to supplement, and so that's what we're using this for, as a supplement to
Correct. Our current textbook is back from 2004 for our geometry class.
Okay.
And it's, I mean, there's pieces of content that are similar in terms of you'll find parallel lines cut by transversal, you'll find similarity, but Common Core asks us to teach geometry in a different way than we've typically taught geometry. We see similarity and congruency as separate topics, and they've asked for us to do everything through transformations. So when we talk about mapping a figure onto a figure, we do that through a rotation, a reflection, a translation, instead of looking at that as a separate entity.
Okay.
So you'll continue to use the book we have, and then this is the supplement piece, or you will no longer need the textbook and you'll only use this?
If we pull from any resources, I would say there's so many more resources online for good tasks or opportunities. Agile Mind is a research-based company that partners with the Dana Center, and they have really produced some great curricular features that implement those 8 mathematical practices and help us take us to the 21st century learning skills. So if there's supplements that we're going to be using, it's using stuff that, you know, to support the students' skills deficits in terms of skilled practice and less of like the task-based. Our books don't have the tasks or the animations or the constructions. Like currently we've never taught constructions, bisecting a segment or mapping or copying a segment in terms of our geometry courses. And so that is also another key piece of the Common Core. And so in Agile Mind, they do that via patty paper as well as compass and protractor. And again, patty paper, not something that we've used before, but yes, I mean like literally the piece of paper that you stick hamburger buns between. It works as a great tool to show how to copy segments or to create an angle bisector or segment bisector.
I noticed in your presentation, or at least the information we were given, you're going to measure success through some various measures, but one would be MAP. So can you talk a little bit about what you've seen in the pilot and what you expect to see upon full implementation?
Yeah, we're actually, we're really looking forward to getting the information from our intensified algebra pilot and how those students did as compared to their similar grade bandwidth counterparts in terms of their MAP scores. I was actually just talking to Rachel. She said our students just took it today, yesterday, one of the two. Yeah, so we'll be actually able to get data shortly and start looking as soon as that MAP window closes to see how the growth was inside of there. Based on student statement or teacher statements inside of the report you'll see for the next report that Rachel will give you, teachers feel that the students have done phenomenally well. They were a little lenient about what was going to happen or how the program was going to run, but at the end they've like come full circle and seen some great results and have really learned to like the program that is offered by Agile Mind in that respect. We do look at a lot of pieces. Obviously, you know, with the changing in the assessment system, we're not going to have Explore to plan to be able to utilize, but we will look at that MAP growth and any things that we do. We also in-house have obviously a pre-assessment for all of our courses in the fall, and we do a final exam that we'll be able to measure as well.
So if there's any additional questions, we'd be happy to answer those, Christy or the teachers, and thank you very much for being here. We greatly appreciate it. And this information report is available for your review, and it does include the purchase of the online resource, which you see here, which would be used as a tool, resource for the teacher in the classroom as well as for the students, in addition to professional development, which would require separate days, but then also in classroom support, and that's really an important feature there. And then the technology component so that the students are able to access the online resource. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and on a related topic, information report 14.3 brings to you information regarding intensified algebra, which was a 9th grade pilot that we are currently running this year. We brought this information to the board to seek approval to run this pilot program last year, so we're currently running it this year. This is a small pilot that we've been running for a select group of students. This is an intervention course for students who are 1 to 2 years behind grade level when they're entering Algebra 1. These students, we know, need additional time. They need challenging curriculum, but they also need cohesive, targeted support. So right now we have a small portion of our students engaged in this intervention course, and we are finding great results for these students, and we would like to expand this. So we'd like to take this kind of out of the pilot phase, expand it. So we're currently servicing 75 students. We'd like to double that for next year. So this report that you have in front of you contains the background and rationale of why we want to continue this. Board Member Gugis, Vice President Gugis, excuse me, asked the question regarding results that we've seen thus far, and we don't yet have the spring map data to see that, but we do have our own district summative assessments, and we're finding a very high level of mastery for our students during first semester, where 98% of the students who typically have struggled with mathematics their whole careers are finding success and are meeting mastery during the content for first semester. Most importantly, the teachers who are implementing this program right now support the continuation of this program, and their feedback can be found on page 6 of the information report. And to me, this was the most valuable testimonial, because the teachers really did look at this with a critical eye, and they really wanted to make sure that it was meeting their needs and meeting the students' needs. And they have found that when they compare where their students are this year with the material to students in the past, they're in a very different place, and they have a much deeper understanding, and they're able to demonstrate that mastery. So the teacher testimonial definitely speaks to what they have found to be the greatest strengths, and then some drawbacks where they have had to supplement, but overall they support the continuation of intensified algebra for our 9th grade students that are meet this criteria. The cost is included in the report, and that's $18,000, which would be funded by local funds that are already budgeted in the current fiscal year budget. Be happy to answer any questions now or between now and the next meeting.
Will this help out the students that had so much trouble in algebra this year?
Well,
will it help out that type of student?
Well, students who have deficits in math, yes, it will help out, but it's not going to reach as many students as the general algebra is. This is a smaller program, which we wish we could extend, but again, that would mean additional staffing, because it gives additional time for students in mathematics. So it will reach 150 students who would traditionally struggle in a normal algebra course that's 50 minutes and taught in a typical way. So it will reach more students, but it will not reach all students who have difficulty with mathematics and algebra.
Is it taught in a block?
Is it spread out throughout the day? Yeah, there's 2 periods, but they see the students twice. So they have double time with the students.
Same teacher, right?
Same teacher.
Okay.
Same teacher, and so they have that additional time, which is really the key thing when we're talking about deficits that are very great and 1 to 2 years behind grade level. So they're working on those interventions, and at the same time ensuring that rigorous curriculum, that challenging curriculum is also being taught, and the students are mastering that as well. I mean, the end goal, and this we shared previously, again, comes out of the Dana Center from the University of Texas. The end goal is that they will be on track with their grade level peers at the end of this intensive support. So there are students currently that need the support. We are very well aware of that, and so we are providing them that. And we see that the students who currently have access to this are seeing great gains from it.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one. I understand the need.
Mm-hmm.
I get we're trying to fill a gap.
Yes, sir.
But ultimately, the goal in a program like this should be to make it smaller, not bigger. Because we should try to have less students that find themselves 1.5 to 2 years back.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're going from 75 to 150, at what point do we foresee this program contracting? Because K through 8, we're able to get kids at grade level, so when they show up at the 9th grade level, they don't have to be an intensive program because they're not 2 grade levels behind.
In terms of a specific amount of years, I don't know. I can tell you that the 75 to pilot this program was just that. It was a small number. It was only taking a portion of the students who need it. If we had started by addressing all of the students who needed that, we would have been bringing to you a proposal that sought a tremendous increase in staffing and a tremendous increase in funding. And so knowing that was not plausible at that time, we tried it out on a smaller scale. And so as we see these gaps being closed as the students transition up, we will see that decrease. However, at this time, we're just not there yet. And so when we're talking about students who have been in school for 9 years and are multiple years behind in their mathematics, comprehension, and ability, it is going to take quite a great deal of effort, and the teachers who are here can definitely speak to that. I know Rachel can, to close those gaps. And so we do want to decrease that number. I cannot give you a specific year of when that program will no longer be needed, but I would imagine there'll be a smaller need once we, move forward.
Yeah, we're doing a lot to, close this gap.
Mm-hmm.
So when those teachers get them at their freshman year, they're not 2 years behind.
Right.
It just got to be clear that that's our goal, though. That our goal is, hey, we're getting kids on grade level. All kids are one of our stated goals is all kids are at grade level at 3rd grade, for sure. We know that because we know how important that mark is. The research all points to how important that mark is. And probably many of these kids weren't at grade level at 3rd grade. So at some point, there's got to be a place where this, despite where we've been.
It sunsets.
Yeah, it sunsets and
hopefully.
And this shrinks.
Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. I can just tell you, though, right now, in just 1 year of having this support in place, that we're not going to be able to close
Understood.
gaps previously. So I think as we move forward in this, what I can tell you that now is that we are seeing results from this. And so as it is in place longer, we can then estimate and foresee out when can it sunset, when can we draw back on that level of support. It should not be a widespread need going forward, and it will not be. It's just that those gaps cannot be closed in 1 or 2 years when we're talking about kind of 9 years, 10 years in the making. So,
Are we going to try a similar thing at the junior high level instead of Odyssey, where Odyssey did not work real well in math?
we are making adjustments to the resource as well as the structure for mathematics at the middle school. And so that will involve a different curriculum, not Odyssey. So Odyssey will not be the universal support. It may be appropriate for some students, but the universal will be a curriculum that has a connection to our core curriculum in the classroom, and that is more teacher-led, so it's more small group instruction. Again, that's kind of been an evolution that we've made from where we started, of kind of just needing to put a Band-Aid on the wound, so to speak. We're now able to, with the staffing support that we have from co-teaching and some of the shifts that we've made at the middle school, we're going to be able to provide students mathematics support with a teacher through that enhancement time. So we're working on that now, and we will be bringing information to you in much more detail about that, but there are teams working on that now, and we'll have that for you in greater depth.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else on that issue? Next,
Thank you.
board policies.
Thank you. The policies presented for the first reading have been updated according to the Illinois Association of School Boards policies, services, and reviewed by legal counsel. These policies will be brought for action at the next board meeting for your approval.
Thank you. Legal services report.
No report.
Thank you. AFT reports.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Valley View Council report. Valley View Office Council report. Apparently no report. Any old business before the board this evening? Any new business? Oh, sorry.
Beth Donofrio, I'm from Bolingbrook. I just a follow-up question from several meetings ago, probably maybe 2 months ago now. I had talked about hearing itinerant staff and a person being put in that supervisory supportive position for them. I just haven't heard yet if anybody's been hired into that position.
Yes, we have made arrangements with the consultant that is certified, and they are going to be helping us do the evaluations.
Okay, who is that person?
I don't recall the name off the top of my head. I don't see Erica. Oh, there you are.
Okay, okay. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you. Any new business before the board this evening? Any questions from the public on actions we've taken this evening? Any announcements by the board? Oh, I'm sorry.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sherry C.A. I sent out a very passionate email to everyone,
And before I address it, I want to address what you mentioned as far as your program, and then the Agile Mind. I wanted to know the pilot, the target market that you used for that. Was it the children that were below the benchmark for math, their scores?
Can you come up to the microphone so we can hear?
For the intensified algebra pilot, we used 2 data points. One was MAP, and they had to be between the 25th and 45th percentile, and the other was tied to Explore, and they were between 12 and 14 in the math assessment.
Okay. For the program that you mentioned, Rachel, how did you go about selecting the students for that program, given that it was only a limited amount of students?
That is exactly what Ms. Fay just stated.
The same data points. Okay. Addressing the email that I sent out, I haven't really gotten any feedback, and I know I've heard a few new things that are being explored right now, but I really would like some feedback from my email.
We will provide you with that feedback this week.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Any announcements by the board?
I want to take a second to thank Yadi and Ricardo for the Latino Student Resource Fair. I didn't get to attend. I think I was at a choir concert. I can't remember what I was at, but it was. I heard it was really good. I know you put a lot of work into it, Yadi, so congratulations. Thank you very much. One other thing I wanted to mention was tonight we had a chance to, in one way, recognize somebody, and we mentioned another person. In a school district, there's a lot of high-profile people. Like high-profile in my household would be, Mrs. Workis and Mrs. Abel and Mrs. Marcato, my kids' 3 teachers. The kids come home every day and talk about them every day. But there's people that work behind the scenes that never really, my kids don't mention them. They never mention Lucy after they get on the bus all day and get a safe ride to school every day and back. They never mention Dan in the back because they have great printed material. And Dan, I saw you here tonight, so I want to take advantage of that to say thank you, sir, for all your hard work at the print shop. And I got an impromptu visit one time there and got a nice tour. And I wanted to say, everybody, if you go on the website, you can go to I think it's called the Copy Accountability Report, I believe Dan made. And you can see how many copies each school uses. And when they get into the danger zone, they turn yellow. And if they go over, they turn red, right? Am I right on that? Yeah, I check it out. Yeah. But I wanted to say thank you, sir, for your years of service and for all the people that work behind the scenes that, nobody ever gets to say thank you to. Thank you.
I was at the Those Who Excel luncheon right before break, and it's too bad that we can't all go because how impressive it is to see those children who have excelled in so many things. And they only can have one subject, but I'm sure there's some of them that could have excelled in every subject that there was. So it was very impressive to see our young people and how well they do.
Anyone else? I'm going to embarrass her. Diane Perro, come up here, would you? Come on, you're sitting in the back. I see you. You shouldn't have snuck in. If you're going to sneak in, you shouldn't wear a red sweater. Go up to the microphone so everybody can see on TV. Come on. Come on. Yeah, we'll get your faces color of the sweater.
Before she speaks, can I make one comment?
There are several.
Before she speaks, may I make one comment?
Sure.
Specific to Those Who Excel. Her son was at the Those Who Excel banquet as the valedictorian for Bolingbrook High School, and I've been attending those a presentation to our students since being the principal of Bolingbrook High School, and I say this without question that his list of accomplishments were something to behold. I have never, in all of my years as administrator, seen a kid who has accomplished as much as your kid has in the 4 years he was at Bolingbrook High School. I mean, it was literally at least double what anybody has accomplished in the time that they were at Bolingbrook High School. So I commend you for how smart your kid is. It's like kind of scary, and I commend you for how you raised him. And I play words with friends with her, which I probably shouldn't, because clearly I don't think I've beaten her once. And I used to brag about how I've never been beaten, but she probably is. I don't know if you're as smart as your kid, but I know he gets it from somewhere. So thank you.
Thank you.
$75,000, and she's a big part of this, has been raised for the band shell at the high school, which will benefit the entire community, not just the schools, everybody who uses that facility. I got an email from Diane today that said we did it, we hit 75,000. I thought we'd be happy at 50, and somehow magically, I have my check, by the way, right here, to help that number. I just want to tell you thank you. I know a lot goes into it, and your son is outstanding. By the way, her son is also being considered for a position as a scholarship at Harvard, and I got a call from a counselor at Harvard to discuss young Mr. Perro. So hopefully that will come through as well.
Is it the Eagle Scout one? Is
Same
it the
kid.
Eagle Scout?
It's just getting admitted there.
Oh, okay.
But I just want to tell you thank you. I was really happy to see that email today, and again, we'll do something special, certainly, but since you snuck in with your red sweater, I figured I'd put you on the spot a bit. And if there anybody you want to, Miss Rupsis, I don't think you're here tonight, are you?
No, she's not.
But if she's part of that too, and everybody who's, your whole team of people that have been doing this, thanks goes out to a lot of people. Mayor Claire put the hammer on some people at his State of the Village. That certainly helped. If you're active in the community, and Mayor Claire knows you, and he's trying to raise money for something good for the school district, you certainly don't want to be at that luncheon. But he did a great job too, and we'll be acknowledging all that further down the road. But I just want to tell you thank you. So
Thank you.
Here, come and get this. Any other announcements by the board? Any announcements by the administration? Any announcements by the public? Hearing none, seeing none. A motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Ayes have it. We stand adjourned. Have a safe evening.